Hey guys, well I'm going to film a video here of something I haven't really done yet, but this is an aftermath of our figure 8 race car. We had a bit of a busy weekend here. Friday night we raced out to the Jay County Fair, which is in Portland, Indiana. There was approximately, I believe it was 16 mini figure 8 cars. We advanced out of our heat, made it to the feature, and were able to pull off a second place finish. Fallen short of first by, looked like about half a lap or so watching the video, but you know, that's the discretion of the officials and counters, so that's how that worked out. So that was good. I got some money for that and a trophy. And then last night we were out at the Noble County Fair, which is in Kendallville, Indiana, and it was a mud bog. I mean, it was a mud bog and a figure 8 broke out. So look at this thing. This is ridiculous. So I had to get some video of this thing because it is just so absolutely muddy, and I'm just trying to figure out where to even start here and cleaning this thing. Obviously we got a power washer and whatnot, but I kind of want to get some of the heavy stuff off. Their track was right in front of the grandstands, and so it's actually on the horse race track. So this is kind of more of the gravelly, sandy mix, more so than just straight mud. But man, they wetted it down right before we raced, and it was a lot of standing water, pretty swampy, and as you can see, there is just a ton of mud on this thing. It's caked really good around the wheels, especially on the back half. I mean, you can't even see our logo or even my number anymore. I'll keep on going around here. But it really got flung all over the inside. I was covered in mud. I had it all over my face. My helmet is just absolutely covered. Hopefully it shows up well with the sun and everything. Sometimes the camera gets a little funky at trying to focus here, but look at all that. Just a ton of mud in there. I'm gonna have to clean that all off and scrape it off. I've got probably a good inch of mud caked on the front of this rear fender here, just from turning with the front end, and those tires fling a lot of mud. So you know, between them and the people I was racing against, we really carved into it. Again, look at all that mud. Good grief. Now if it was a derby car or something I was just planning on scrapping, then I would just leave this all on there and just scrap it and not have to worry about it. But because this is more of a race car, obviously this all needs to get cleaned up and looking good. And I was planning already to try to repaint this thing, actually after this weekend's races, only because it's still the previous owner's majority of his paint scheme, and some of his sponsor decals up at the front. I just want to change it up to be more appropriate and you know, what we are running and who we're running for. And I'm going to keep the big checkered flag that's painted on the hood though, but I think the rest of it will get repainted. And with all this mud and stuff, by the time I take a power washer to it, scrape it all off, there's not going to be a ton of paint left. Look at all that mud. Now that it's drying in here in the morning, I mean, there's at least a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of mud back here. I'm sure you mud bog guys are probably like, yeah, that's nothing, but you know, for me, I gotta get this stuff cleaned up and looking good. I mean, you can't even see the all for him racing, and I guess you can make out the number, but just a little bit. And you can see the fenders are just caked full up of mud up in there too. I guess as far as a report of how did the car hold up, if you guys remember, this thing, if you watch some of our races, just had a spout of bad luck last year. Quite honestly, I was able to get a 3rd place at the beginning of the year and a 2nd at the very end, but there was 3 derbies, I believe, that I broke an axle, and it was always the passenger front CV shaft that broke, and it broke right at the wheel hub. And took a little bit of research over the winter just to try to figure out what the heck's going on. Found out that there is I thought it was a 92, but if I bought parts for a 91, it actually had a inch longer CV shaft, which I think just gives me that much more travel on that front end and just kept it from coming apart and breaking on me. So I think that did it. So the base of this must not be a 92 after all, it's the 91. And so following that, it actually was able to get better parts. It's held together great. If you guys have seen our video footage, we raced this about 2 weeks ago in Hoagland, Indiana, and we were able to grab a first place finish there, so that was exciting. Against some money and a trophy. Then we did the J County and then Noble County. The results from the Noble County, we actually got second as well with that. It was like a car length's difference between the guy that won and me. I mean, it seemed like it was literally that close, because the counters both were showing that we had 20 laps, which is what was required, but he hit it just before me and wasn't able to score a win, unfortunately. But you know, hey, anytime you can leave a derby with a trophy and some money in your pocket, it's a good day. Because I've gone home with a lot less, that is for sure. So overall, I think I've got the issue with the car fixed as far as the axles go. I am having a little bit of an issue with it seeming to run a little bit extra hot this year, so I do need to check that out. Maybe I'll just flush the fluids and put some new ones in. Change the oil, those sorts of things. Obviously those are good maintenance things to do anyway, but especially after the abuse it's had here the last few weeks, it definitely would be a good idea to do that. There you go, guys. Just thought I'd give you a quick walk around of this thing before I started cleaning it up, because oh my gosh, there is just a ton of mud. Maybe now from this angle you can see how much mud is up in here inside the car as well, that I know I've got to try to figure out what to do with all the mud up on the dash and all over the place. And my suit and helmet are going to require a good clean as well. We're not going to be able to get it perfect, but you know, if as I said, we're planning on trying to repaint the thing anyway, and so we'll just take it in stride, get it cleaned up as best we can, and then go about wire wheeling it and painting it up the way that we want to paint it up this next time. More details on that coming soon, because I haven't quite exactly figured out what paint scheme I'm going to do. Keeping it simple would be nice, because it's going to be easier to touch up the paint between races, because obviously this car does scrape and bump, and you know, we still have a good time, but at the same time it is getting abused every time I take it out on the track. But you guys, if anybody's followed our channel long enough, you know that we like to do a fun paint job and keep it fun for the fans. We actually had a spiral on the wheels this past weekend for both of our races, so I'm curious to see how that looks when I watch the video that my wife filmed for us. And yeah, so there you guys go. Figure 8 car update as of the 2017 season. Hopefully more in store and a few more wins to come. So until the next video, we'll talk to you later, guys.